Hello my boos, my beautiful yous, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're back with another tutorial and it's all about contouring this face. I'm really excited to record this video because I've gotten so many questions on how I contour my face. Even my best friends have asked me to do this video. Contouring is one of my favorite parts of my makeup routine because it just makes everything look so snatched and defined and just overall way better, and that is the beauty of makeup, my friends. So before I start this tutorial and just kind of show you guys what I think looks good, what I think doesn't, like the do's and don'ts of contouring, I just want you to keep in mind that there are absolutely no rules to makeup. If you guys don't think that a certain thing that I'm doing looks good on your face, then you do you. You do it exactly the way you want to. I just want to show you guys what looks good for me and kind of just the tips and tricks that I've developed over the years, because I guarantee you that all the don'ts that I'm showing, I've done. Makeup is a learning experience, and I'm also very curious to know what your guys' tips and tricks are. If you guys have any special little things that you guys do, don't forget to leave them down in the comments and let me know. So without further ado, if you guys want to see how I contour my face, then just keep watching. Just a little side note, if you guys constantly hear planes flying back and forth, I apologize. I really try to start talking right when the plane's done flying by, but by the time the plane is done flying, there's another one that's coming, so bear with me here. Okay, so I have my foundation on, Giorgio Armani of course, and first I'm going to start off with cream contouring and then I'm going to move on to powder contouring. If you guys don't cream contour, totally fine, you can skip the video to when I start powder contouring, but I don't know, I really like cream contouring. I think it looks really nicely, especially as a base underneath your powder, so it's up to you, whatever you want. So my first rule when it comes to contouring is I like to contour before I highlight, meaning that I use my contour products and then I go in with my concealer afterwards, because I think that the concealer does a really good job at cleaning up all the harsh lines and it just makes it look a lot better in my opinion. My second rule is when I start off with my cream products, I really try to go with a gray toned cream product. I find that this Anastasia Beverly Hills one in the shade Espresso, it's like a stick foundation that I got in a darker shade than my skin tone. This is very gray toned. The other contour that I used to use is this concealer by L'Oreal. It's in the shade Cocoa, which is number 8. I like this one. I think it looks really good still, but it's a little bit more orangey yellow tone, and I just find that the gray looks a lot better. So my rule number 3 basically leads me into how I draw the shapes on my face with my contour stick. I'm going to start from the top of the face all the way to the bottom just so I can explain to you what I'm doing on each piece of my face. So when it comes to contouring your forehead, you're either trying to make your forehead look smaller horizontally or smaller vertically. I do a little bit of both. I don't think I have the biggest forehead, but I still like to put it on because I think it looks better that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line like this and like this on both sides of my face. And when it comes to the cheekbone, I like to mimic the natural shadows that I have on both my cheeks. So I'm going to start at my hairline and kind of just draw a line and stop right there. I'm not going to bring it too far down. And for the jawline, I'm going to do the same thing, just trace exactly where I want it, and I want to just shorten my chin just a little bit, so you're just gonna put a little right there. So when you're blending this in, you just want to make sure that you're tapping it in with your beauty blender and not dragging it on your face. When you get to your as I was saying, the most important part is your cheekbone, because even if you decide that you're gonna drag it while you're tapping it, you really wanna make sure that you are tapping it or dragging it in upwards motions. Make sure that you're not going downwards because you want your cheekbones to look lifted. And the beauty of contouring before you start highlighting is if you do accidentally get it in this area a little bit, then you can go in with your concealer and clean it up. Alright, so now that I have that all blended in, I'm gonna go in with my rule number 4, which is concealer. 95% of the time that I'm highlighting my face with concealer, I'm usually using a shade that is very close to my foundation, like even just maybe one shade lighter. I just think that looks better, especially at nighttime. But if you're gonna do it towards the daytime, or if you just really want a little bit more dimension in your face and you want the light to dark from like the top of your cheekbone to the shadows of your cheekbone to be a big difference, then you're gonna want to use a little bit of a lighter concealer. I personally do not recommend doing that at night though, because you are going to get some gnarly flashback in your photos. So since it is daytime and I want to show a little bit more contrast in my face, I'm going to use my Shape Tape in the shade medium, and I'm also going to mix it with my light medium honey as well. I'm going to place those beneath my eyes and drag it out to about there, and along my nose. And the reason why we're putting light tones in the middle of our face, so right here, I'm gonna put some right on my forehead, down my nose, and on my chin, is because we want these areas to appear higher than the darker ones to make it look more defined and lifted. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that lighter one and just add that right to the center areas. And like I said before, I'm gonna take my medium and just use that to clean up all the blotchiness from the contour. And same thing, I'm gonna be taking my sponge and just tapping that in. Okay, so we are done with the cream contours, and that leads me into my rule number 5. I'm going to set my face with some Laura Mercier foundation. So setting our face is really just going to prevent all the areas that we concealed from creasing and really just making sure that it lasts all day. But my new rule that I realized in the past year that I was not doing is making sure to not only just set the places like underneath my eyes and where I put my concealer, but also the areas where I cream contoured. And even if you didn't cream contour, it's setting your foundation as well. You can either use a Laura Mercier powder or you can use a face powder that's the same color as your face. And doing this is gonna just make sure that all the areas are dry of the foundation and the concealer, so that once you start to use your bronzer and like your powder products, it's not gonna look muddy on your face and it's gonna look really even. So we're moving on to our powder products. This is my bronzer. This is my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I've been using this since the very beginning. I absolutely love these shades. Even though this one is a little bit more on the warmer side, all 3 of these shades are good for contouring because they do a really good job at mimicking that shadow on your cheekbone and areas that you want to contour. So I'm going to take this angled Morphe brush and I'm going to just kind of mix all 3 of them and just take a little bit of the darkest one, tap that off to get the excess off. And same thing as the cream contour, you just want to make sure that you're lifting it upwards and not downwards. And you're basically just mimicking all the same areas that you used your cream contour with. And now that we're done contouring with gray tones, we're going to go in with our bronzer, which is going to be a little bit more of an orange tone to warm up your entire face. And this is a MAC Give Me Sun. I'm going to take a little bit more of a rounder full brush and just tap that in and kind of just lightly place that on the outer perimeter of your face. Okay, so we're on our last step. This is rule number 7, I believe. Might be 6. Pretty sure it's 7. Don't come at me if I'm wrong. So we are going to take our highlighter as our last step to really just emphasize the places that we concealed. And I really like to go in with either the Becca Opal or this is the Laura Geller in Gilded Honey. I'm going to take this more gold toned one. And I'm going to take this Sephora 79 brush. It's a little more dense, which is perfect for picking up a little bit more product. So I see a lot of people do this is when they're going like ham with their highlighter, and I have nothing against that. I'm absolutely for that. However, you kind of want to make sure that this area, at least like directly under your under eye, is going to be matte because you don't want to illuminate your under eyes. So you're going to kind of want to just do it on the very tip of your cheekbone and just make sure it stays there and doesn't come to this underneath your eye. And then what I like to do is just make sure to set it all with some Urban Decay setting spray. And then I like to go in again and just reapply it as it's wet, and it really emphasizes that color. Alright guys, and there it is. I gave you guys my full contour routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have got to go because I'm about to be late for my full body laser appointment, which is the best thing that can happen to a little brown girl's life. Make sure to stay tuned in for next week's video because this is probably a video that I'm the most excited about filming on my entire channel, just because it is the most commented thing on every single video that I have uploaded. If you guys can guess what it is, make sure to comment down below what you think the video title will be, and the first person who gets it right, I will give you a nice shout out on my Instagram. So make sure to stay tuned in for that, and as always, a huge thank you to my boos, my beautiful yous, for always watching my videos and supporting me. If you guys would like to join the Fabu fam, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a big thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to follow me in between uploads, my Instagram and Twitter are both @sagoniamlazarof, and until then, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!